Welcome to another Minneapolis by Night. This is again a crossover side scene for McKenna. Uh, she has been asking around about microbreweries and brewing in the area and was directed that she has a list of about five or six, and that some of them even offer um, classes for home brewing. So she's going to, sounds like, be doing sort of a pub crawl this morning.
Yep. Traditional Fiona pub crawl, you know. If you're gonna learn how to brew, you might as well drink while you're doing it.
They are all listed within the city limits, so shouldn't be too bad.
Rock on. Okay. I guess I can pull that list up in the actual blue book too. Hey, so I actually know.
That wouldn't hurt. Then you can tell me if you're actually going in order, or if you detour, whatever the case may be.
Right? You never know. Drunk people take detours all the time.
It's true. Have to sometimes.
Right. No, I think she's probably going to be smart if she's going to be going to this many places. Resist toxin is going to be activated.
That or call a cab, one or the other, or both.
Right? Well, with a stamina of two, she's probably not going to make all those breweries if she doesn't have resist toxin activated through a good part of it. So yeah, I guess it looks like the first one was the She Brewing and Cider Works on the top there.
Yep. And that one is located actually um, right in town, near a park. It's
Okay.
actually there's parks on the corner it sits on is a three-way intersection, and it is on the only corner that's not a park. So,
Cool.
but it's kind of outside a subdivision, or between the subdivisions, residential, and the big city part. So it's towards the edge of the main area of town. Bigger building, a lot of hewn stone, uh, kind of done. Um, and then part of it, they actually have the dirt built up over it. Um, so it's kind of I guess for lack of a better term, like almost like a hobbit looking dwelling.
Hobbit hole.
But then part of it extends out, and it's um, done with like a European, British castle type look. Um, Stone longhouse, that sort of thing. Very old world.
Huh.
So,
Well, sweet. I
and
guess.
you can tell it's open. There's people milling about. Um, they actually have uh, on the backside. You see a sort of a stable type structure, and you can see there's actual horses there. So,
Okay. That's a new one. Horses. All right. Got it. Uh, no, she'll go check out the inside now that she's seen the outside.
okay. Um, Inside is pretty wide open, and it's fairly busy. Um, there's a couple of different groups in here, including a group of about a dozen what actually look like Amish gentlemen or something of that nature.
Hmm. All right. How crowded is this place?
Um, it's I mean it's big enough to accommodate the crowds that are in here, so it's not packed, but it's certainly busy. Um, and there's a couple of the bar runs the length of the building for about 2/3 of the way, and then in the back you can see where they've actually got breweries and like tanks and stuff.
Right, all the equipment.
And there's a couple of people who are gathered around. There's a guy in a corner, kind of, and he seems to be kind of talking about the procedures and methods and fine points of microbrewing. And there's a couple of different bartenders. They've got wait staff.
Oh, well,
Actually, looks like they have a full menu as well. So they're serving food and beverages.
well, the Fiona is eyeing up the beverages naturally.
Roll me a perception. Let's go with alertness.
No, I almost got that random 20 in there again. I got it this time. Oh wow.
So you see things.
I see things.
The guy you see here, everyone else kind of seems to be deferring to him, but he comes out of the back, and he's actually carrying a wooden cask over one shoulder. And you notice a number of Celtic and Druidic and Scandinavian tattoos. His forearms, his basically up to his sleeves, and you can even see some on his neck. That he's covered in these very old world mythology type tattoos. And he kind of works. The bartenders are deferring to him, but he puts sets the cask on the bar, and one of the bartenders walks around the front. And they actually tap the cask right up on the bar, and he right out to the whole bar. He says, "This is the first batch of the new cider recipe, so this one's on the house for everyone visiting."
Ooh. Well, I think naturally the Fiona has to try everything, so I'm sure they have some kind of sample thing. She is listening off, trying to be close enough to get beverages and listen to the guy talking about brewing in the corner.
He'll notice that you're kind of like, I assume at like trying to get a table like somewhere in between, so you can.
Right.
And he'll actually come over and he brings you actually a stein full of this cider, and asks if you're here for the courses, if you're a new entrepreneur or a hobbyist, or if you're just here looking for lunch and beverages.
Well, I'm here to listen to this, definitely learn a thing or two. Beverages, they help. But
I suppose he should.
It's more of a hobby at this point, picking it up and learning.
He will he'll lead you over and say, "Well, I'll make sure you're well served," but he says, "O'Sullivan here is my handles most of my brewing. I handle the microbrews, custom recipes, some of the old world recipes. He handles more of the larger stock. So if you're looking to do it on a hobby scale, small quantity, I can answer some questions, but he might be the best place to start." He says,
So
"I'm Tertius. I'm the owner here."
I'm McKenna. And
you can give a perception primal urge, probably be the applicable.
Right.
I almost said awareness, even though we talked about it.
Oh God. Well, if it's perception, primal urge to detect a mage, it doesn't matter. You need like 4.
Well, he you don't necessarily know what he is, but he definitely has some sort of spiritual element to him.
Okay.
So you would say he's certainly more than human and not a shifter.
Definitely not a shifter. Okay.
Although I guess perhaps it could be kinfolk with what you're sensing about him, but
Right. Right.
he asks if he can get you anything to eat while you're here. If you want a menu of their selections, are you interested more in beers or meadery or both?
Both.
Um, he says, are you looking to grow your own ingredients? You have a provider. Obviously, hops and honey, those are growing them yourself if you're on a small scale can be difficult, but myself as well as a couple of the other local breweries and stuff do offer our hops where you can buy a quantity of them raw if you're a hobbyist.
Oh, okay. Yeah, like I said, I'm just getting started, so I'm not entirely sure what I'm going to do there. I just want to learn the process first.
Well, if you're starting out, he says, I recommend at least initially getting the brewing process down before you worry about making the raw materials.
Right.
It's a little, although it's still an investment, it's a little less of an investment, especially time wise. So he says, well, I'll get you a couple of samples in a menu, and I'll let you listen to O'Sullivan here. He's got a pretty good spiel, and then I can perhaps answer some specific questions after.
Oh, cool. Thanks.
So he goes up to the right behind the bar, starts doing his thing.
Right.
And screw it, I've got a guy who would be a good Irish. Good, because I can recycle pictures from other venues. That's allowed.
Yep.
So I'm gonna grab a appropriate picture for O'Sullivan, who you can tell right away. Even he's even got a bit of an Irish accent. But he's up there and giving his spiel and kind of talking through the process.
Oh, hey, look at that face. I've never seen that picture before, ever.
But he's talking about different methods.
Okay.
Talking about the big concerns, of course, are your obviously you get your hops and stuff for flavor, but it's your yeast and sugars that actually ferment. So he's talking about making sure you have the right balances, the right amounts, even the right kinds. And he mentions that with their meads, they don't actually add any sugars. They rely on the sugars of the honey typically. But that a lot of their small batch brewing that Tertius does, and he kind of gestures to the owner, Tertius uses what they refer to as wild caught yeasts, where he actually doesn't use a yeast starter. He leaves it open or starts with an open air sugar and water blend to capture yeast out of the native air. And he says that can be beneficial, especially for people who are in maybe mountainous regions, or if you are in a more of a wild environment, you can get more unique flavors that way. He talks about the even one thing people overlook is what water you're using as a base. Whether it's a spring water. He says we have access to a couple of artesian springs, but you can get a real crisp flavor with a little bit more bite if you're using a pure river water. They don't recommend tap water because of the additives and the filtering processes. He said he's heard of some that use like glacial runoff type water. or they'll even if there's a place they have enough snow, they'll actually just use the snow as their water source. Depending on the quantities you're looking to create and the amount, the method you're using, the flavors you're going for.
All right.
He personally has had luck with other herbs and spices in his beers and such.
She's taking notes, just for the record.
He passes around some sample glasses, as it's kind of your little chaser glass.
Yep.
But he said that's his. It's a black pepper floral. And so it's a beer, but he actually has fermented floral like lavender and honeysuckle,
right,
in with the hops, as well as peppercorns.
Peppercorns, okay. Huh. Right. Well, we know that she's totally tasting things, so.
So that would be a stamina. I mean, oh, you had your gift up, correct?
Yeah, she's that doesn't come off unless you directly say that you turn it off. That's the joy of that gift. How W20 has it.
Tribal, I assume.
It's one of them. Actually, that isn't her tribe. I believe that's her auspice, or no, not auspice. Maybe it is. No, it is a tribe gift because I bought another gift, if I recall. Let's see.
Resist toxin as the phone number gift.
Resist toxin is also a Fiona gift.
Yep.
Yeah, because I bought 2 Fiona gifts.
Permanently immunized, as long as it's active. Adds 3 dice for worm enhanced. Immune to mundane. Perfect. All right. So you're getting the flavors, and you can tell they've got some potence to them, but obviously because of your gift, they're not really affecting you.
Right.
So it's certainly a, and there's a wide variety. They've got IPAs. He's got some darker porters. And then they do. He touches on meads a little bit, although they tend to make their meads in smaller batches because of the harvesting of the honey.
Right.
And they, at that point, Tertius comes back up to you and sets down a larger stein. Very traditional. It's actually made of horn. You can tell it's
awesome.
Yeah. But it's. He sets it down. He said, "This is one of my personal ones. I tend to not mix my honey batches. I brew my meads specific to which hive they came from. It gets different flavors, and I have my hives in different floral patches as well. So one might be more lavender. I have this particular one is I have one from where the hive is in a series of rose gardens."
Interesting. Well,
he chuckles and he says, "I suspect you'll be fond of this one. It's a grows in the hive is in a patch of what is commonly known as the Bells of Ireland, as well as a number of other herbal flowers."
I just may. She chuckles and she'll definitely give it a taste.
That one you will need a stamina, and you have your +3 on it.
Yep. So I get 5. Got one.
It's certainly got a kick to it. And
It's a bad thing. Not that that's a bad thing at all.
no, there's something else to it. Give me a perception primal urge. Or enigmas if it's higher.
They're the same.
Okay. Then whichever one you want. I don't care.
Okay, well, I've got a 6, 10, 6, 7.
You actually, it's in your mind. This is what it's like the essence of a cairn almost. It's like a liquid gnosis.
Whoa.
And he chuckles a little bit and he says, "I thought that one might get you a little more than the mass-produced stuff."
It definitely has my attention.
Yeah, he says, "Well, I was about to head out, but if you want to see the highs for that one, that's not a public brewed product. That one."
I think this, yeah, I don't think the general public would appreciate this as much as some of us.
No, I keep that one reserved. You can get it here. A couple of liquor stores carry it if you know what to ask for. And then
Gotcha.
then the Green Dragon Tavern has started stocking it recently. I don't know if you're familiar with the establishment, but it's a
She actually nods because she's
British pub.
I know where that is. She smiles.
He hands you a card and he says, "Well, it's up to you if you want to visit today or at another time, but here's my personal cell number, as well as my business lines." And you notice that the Urban Growler, which was also on your list, is on his card as well.
Oh, interesting. Any just that one then? That's on there too. I'm just trying to.
Yeah, he's got the Cider Works Brewing and then the Urban Growler, and it's the same card.
Huh. All right. So cool. Another place on my list. She'll pass her contact info to him too. That way he knows who's contacting if she calls him and whatnot. So he's not like, "Who the heck is this weird number?"
He says, "Well, it's up to you whether you'd prefer to visit today or at another time." But
I may do that. I have a few places on my list to hit today.
well, I have business to tend to myself, so I understand. But I can always make time for an enthusiast.
It looks like you got your hands into one of the other places on my list too. She's looking at the card.
He says, "Oh,
yeah. Urban." She points at the Urban Growler one on his card.
ah, yes, that's
That's on my list of places to go check out.
He says it's actually one I established for getting hobbyists into it. It's a microbrew. It's primarily an outlet for equipment and stuff for small scale enthusiasts.
Oh, that will definitely be handy.
So I'm actually headed over that way. I've got to check on some inventory and do some ordering, but I haven't decided what I'm doing with the rest of my day. So perhaps I'll see you there, depending how directly you're headed there.
I'll probably be heading there when I'm finished here. She actually is looking up at the other guy to see if he's actually done talking or not.
Yeah, Sullivan's kind of wrapping up. It seems like he's kind of rotating through. He does a little Q&A, but then he starts the same material again for new people.
Right. So, yeah, like I said, she's been taking notes, so she's not just sitting there. She doesn't have eidetic memory either, so she kind of has to take notes.
Alrighty.
So yeah, she'll if he's done talking about the brewing, she'll pretty much go over there when she's done drinking.
Okay. And Faldor offered you a couple of different options if you wanted lunch too.
Okay, sweet,
So
sweet.
he's got like lamb chops. He's got corned beef,
Right,
traditional.
traditional Irish fare. All right. Oh yeah, yeah. She'll probably more than likely wind up eating something just because hey, I have four more places to hit.
All right. And then
And she wasn't expecting that last one to do what it did. So yeah, and she's done
all right. Do
drinking.
you have anything specific for O'Sullivan, or just kind of?
Well, she's like I said, she's just kind of taking notes, and because every place does things different. Like I mean, they don't do it differently, but they have their own ideas on how
Right.
things work and what works better. She's literally trying to get all these ideas, see like what
And
try
he'll tell.
experiment with different things, just see what works better for her when she does do it.
They do a lot of traditionalist stuff, so they're using like artesian spring water, river water, a lot of the old world herbs and floral elements.
Okay.
And he
Yeah.
tells you that they do filter their water, but they do a stone filter.
Okay.
That it's literally limestone and some of the hard stones, and they've crushed it up and basically run the water through it.
I can safely say that she's probably going to avoid extracts being what she is and all, werewolves.
Well, and again, a lot of theirs are your traditional
Yep.
herbs.
Yep.
Some of them have healing properties, cleansing properties, that sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
But he gives you a kind of a rundown of what their most common herbs to use are. Most of them are more for flavors than anything else.
Okay.
So.
Right. Yeah, she's just gonna work her way down the list, like you said.
All right. So.
Next one is the Urban Growler.
Yep. And it's kind of more of an industrial look, but it's a lot of stainless steel but it's also got a lot of raw wood to it. So they're kind of like a rustic industrial.
Cool. Cool.
Or modern rustic, I guess maybe would be a better word for it. They've got like the bar stools are stainless steel, but they've got leather padding, that sort of thing. And so it's again, the bar portion is kind of the smaller area. Then they have basically it's like a retail outlet where you can get equipment to set up a small microbrewery, and they've got everything from here's your 5 or 10 gallon up to 300 to 500 gallon. Reasonably well priced from what you can tell. In fact, when you were at the library browsing online, this guy's actually beating out your internet wholesalers. So.
Sucks to be the internet.
And you see another small cask on the counter. This one's been tapped as well, so obviously he's doing some promoting.
Clearly. Gotta promote his product,
But they're not running any classes right now, but they do have a schedule of them up.
I will look and get that information.
And they do also have, basically, they have what looks like a private consultation
Okay.
set up. And you recognize the number. It's Tertius's,
Right, right,
but it's his store number. But
right.
it's
Actually,
his office, and that he offers private consultations if you're setting up your own and you're kind of lost as where to go next or that sort of thing.
right. I actually have
So
to get a question from Bill answered regarding this stuff, actually. Because he actually had JoJo leave her money for equipment, but he didn't specify how much. Because JoJo is going to be her partner in crime on this. Because equipment is going to be key. And if they're out, if it's going to be easier to buy stuff here, might as well do it. I just need to know what she has to play with. Anyway, she'll, like I said, she sees the number and uh, the schedule and all that. And she's got his number, so
yeah.
if anything, she'll sample some of the stuff at the bar here.
And they have some other recipes. Um,
We'll say she's texting JoJo in the process because she can't remember.
yeah.
Well, she's
The he's got a couple of more unusual ones as well. They've got some that are done basically like new age type hipster stuff. He's got one that's uh, filtered through a motor oil filter, that
okay.
sort of thing. So he's tried to mix it up.
Okay. Cool, cool. Let's see if Bill ever answers me back. He can answer admin chat, but not me. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, that good.
Yeah, he gave her a lot of money for equipment, apparently.
Okay.
She can buy some really high quality stuff with that. Apparently, she's supposed to let him know if she needs more money, but it's like, yeah, I don't think she's gonna need more money for equipment with how. Oh my God, are you insane?
So, and they offer delivery. They've got signs up all over.
Oh, 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 oh. Well, let's see. She's gonna have to have that probably delivered to her at the Storm Crow because she obviously is not going to tell them, yeah, you can deliver that to the Sept. She'll have it delivered, yeah. It'll be addressed to her, but delivered to the apartment above the Storm Crow. That way Sasha can be like, what the heck? Why are you having your mail sent here?
Alrighty.
She's gonna, when she's done checking out equipment, she'll do basic small setup stuff because obviously she's experimenting. She's not gonna go balls out until she knows for sure.
Okay, so she's getting something decent sized, but not huge.
Right. Yes. Let's see. She's gonna move on to what's the other place? Oh, of course, I accidentally exited out of the forum stuff.
Finnegan's would be the next one.
Okay. So she'll check this place out.
And that's a traditional Irish pub and microbrew when you get there.
All right. Just get a typical Irish pub feel. Like I said, oh God. Well, naturally, she has to sample things and look around at all of their stuff and whatnot.
They actually have canned products too, so they have their own canning and bottling.
Oh, sweet. So feasibly, I don't even technically have to sit here.
No, and they even have sample packs.
Oh, that is too perfect. That means I can go sit and sample this with this gift kicked off later.
And their big thing, they have a couple of notes up, is that they don't. They're a nonprofit. All their profits fund soup kitchens and food banks.
Okay.
So they and in fact their menu even states that anything on their menu, if you can't afford to buy a meal, will be provided, and it's the same food served at the soup kitchen down the street. So,
Huh.
and when you look at it, it's not bad food. I mean, it might be a soup kitchen, but there's obviously this place is doing well enough to keep it serving good meals. So,
well, legit. So this place does nice things for people. Cool. Well, she'll definitely for this one she'll take her beers with her so she can actually sample them and get buzzed with them later. She knows that she has multiple places, and yeah. And after that first one that she's unexpecting, yep. So right on down the line here after she acquires said 6-pack or mixed pack of whatever it is.
Yeah, they've got
6. That's generally how they work.
Yeah. Next, so then you're going to head from there to Fair State, which is next on your list. And Fair State's got a big production line, but they advertise right up front that they're that they're a co-op and that they're all about putting the community in contact. So they're big on feedback. They try and source a lot of their ingredients locally. They do have a couple of ones you haven't seen before, different ideas, including some seasonal beers, one of which has blood orange, cranberry, and ginger, some citrus flavors, blend hops where they get different hops from different sources. So.
Oh, fun. And are they just doing the brew stuff? Like they aren't offering any classes or anything either? She's not looking into this, but
they don't have classes per se, but they do have a number of books and pamphlets, and they even have a list of suppliers in the area.
Oh, sweet. I'm totally going to look at some of those.
And they have, they do like round robins basically with the members of the co-op. Do round robins where people can come and try their personal microbrews, their home brews.
Right.
So, and the next one of those won't be for about 10 days, but.
Okay.
Those are open that, as long as you can contribute. Basically, you show up here with sampling of your brew, and then everyone kind of gets the opportunity to go around. Basically a tasting, but it's all stuff that's not for sale. And they have some on tap, some in bottles, some in cans.
Okay. Cool. Well, yeah, she'll check out her, like I said, she'll check out the books and whatnot, and if they have stuff she can take with her, well, yeah. She's checked out the establishment at least. She does, like, if she can get away with taking stuff with her, all the better, because she's better able to enjoy it, so she doesn't have to wander around town drunkenly. So let's see, that was 1, 2. So we have what, one more?
The Northbound Smokehouse is next, and then there is the Town Hall Brewery. But the Town Hall Brewery is more of a they're not quite a big brewery, but they're kind of right on that edge between microbrew and full size.
Okay, so
if you're starting small, that might be for later on when you're looking to expand.
Right. So she might check out the big one at a later date, but she'll check out this next one for sure. Take her, like I said, she looked at some of those books and pamphlets. If she can snag some, she's totally going to snag some.
Yeah, they've got them stacked up there for anyone interested.
Sweet. So she'll take those for notes. Obviously, if she can, like I said, they've got bottles and whatnot, you said, so she'll take some of those and do a account here. Get some of those. Gee, imagine that. The Fiona leaves place with a bunch of booze. That would never happen.
Then the last one you were going to visit then would be the Northbound Smokehouse.
Yep.
And they are that's like it looks like an old factory building, basically like a brick downtown type building.
Okay.
And they are crowdfunded. They've got a big sign that they were crowdfunded. So those who crowdfunded them get they thank their sponsors and that sort of thing. Little more industrial inside, but you can see a couple of industrial smokers, and they're actually one of them. One of their beers is advertised as a smoked beer, and they actually smoke the hops in it. So that's something different you haven't seen. A lot of stouts, a lot of heavier beers. These are your heavy craft beers that you're going to find. So they do have an IPA, but most of their stuff is porters and heavier flavors.
Okay, cool.
They do have food. Obviously, they're a fine dining craft beer type place. This is definitely your upper end of the environment.
Right.
Well, the first ones you visited, the Cider Works and Finnegan's were kind of more your casual after work type pub environment. This is your going out to dinner type.
Oh, so she probably looks like the awkward drunk kid walking into the bar.
Well, they do still have a bar.
Right.
It's just most of the guys in there are, polo shirts or that sort of thing. Almost a country club atmosphere a little bit.
Well.
So, but they're certainly still welcoming. It's just a different style. Their beers are a little pricier, but they're doing a different method as well.
Okay.
So, and actually, what's funny is Tersa's sitting at the bar, and there's he's eating. He's got actually 4 empty pint glasses in front of him. So.
All right. Anybody sitting near, like, on either side of him?
It's not directly next to him. No, there's people around, but
yeah, that's what I meant.
Yeah.
Does it look like the air seats near him are occupied.
No, he seems to be
Have
kind of
been.
doing his own thing. Um,
Uh, she'll just kind of noting that there's actually someone she's met before in here. She'll be like, "Oh, long time no see." She walks up next to him, leaning over, like waiting to get a drink at the bar.
he's he says, "Well, sometimes you need a change of pace from your own brew."
No, no, I get it.
He gestures to the seat next to him and he says, "Get you around."
Sure, thanks. She'll take the seat next to him.
He flakes on the bartender and they said, "Put a pint in front of you."
Cool, cool.
It's a obviously a pretty thick beer. You could tell when he was pouring it. It's
Okay. Well, at this point, I
not
mean,
quite syrup, but close.
she's on her last place. She's just gonna drop the gift and say forget it at this point. She
He
doesn't have to worry about doing much more in regards to moving, so she can always later step sideways and shift to kill the alcohol if she really needs to.
he recommends that sampling some of their food. They've got a variety of food you're not going to find elsewhere. He says the only place in town he can find smoked fish unless he does it himself.
Huh. Well, hell, F it, yeah. She's been running around all day. She'll eat some food and drink some beer with him, you know. Um, oh yeah.
Give me another perception primal urge.
8876.
So you can tell that he's definitely not a simple kinfolk either, although you would venture a guess that the 5 empty pint glasses would have
Right,
might have hinted that as well.
right. Most mortals don't, yeah, drink 5 pint glasses and quote unquote. I'm guessing it looks like he's doesn't even have a slight buzz.
Uh, it's hard to say. He's
Right.
maybe a slight one, but that's about it.
Okay.
And
Okay.
it's hard to tell if that's even or
It's
if
even
he's doing
from
that
that.
for appearances or
Right.
you know.
Right. Gotcha. Well, they are in public, so it's not like she's gonna be like, so what the heck? How the hell are you doing that? She knows. She's not gonna be like, what the F are you? That's rude. Though I do have Scent of the True Form, which will probably help me even better. So now that we're actively going to use that, we are definitely. Now that I know something is up, it's like, all right, nope. Scent of the True Form. Got to figure this out. It's going to drive her nuts. And she probably doesn't figure it out with Scent of the True Form. If I recall correctly.
Uh, well, again, you're kind of in that state of he's something unusual, but you're not sure what. Um,
Right?
he's got a fairly pungent herbal smell to him as well.
Okay.
And you would kind of at that point notice that on his belt he's got a number of like leather pouches hanging, um, and that seems to be kind of where that originates from.
Right. Yeah. She's nowhere near enough, but now she's just sitting there like, this is going to drive me nuts. But yeah. Uh, I had a question too, and then I totally brain farted it by looking at that.
So He'll eat and drink and chat with you for a while.
Yep.
He asked if you had a chance to stop by the growler.
Oh, I did.
He said, "Did you find what you were looking for? Did you have questions on any of the equipment or?"
I actually picked up some equipment that I'm gonna play with on the small scale here for now and see how things go once I get a better head on my shoulders in regards to doing it.
He says, "Well, I've had the best luck if you have a cooler, dark place to let it rest." So he says,
I probably have access to a place like that.
he chuckles and he says, "Well, I'm sure you do."
I do.
He says it's once you've got the product mix, it's much the same process, assuming you're doing it traditionally as you do with wines. He said there's a couple of experts around here on that as well.
That could be interesting. That might be something to think about later. One thing at a time.
He says, "Well, I enjoyed the chat. I'm headed to check on some of my private brews, so I imagine I don't want to interrupt your tour."
No, this is the last end of it, actually.
He says, "Well, unless you want to add one more stop."
What's one more stop gonna hurt? She smiles.
Yeah, he just chuckles a little bit at that. He heads outside and he gives you directions actually to a small park near a stone bridge.
Okay.
He says, It's right across the street from the old power plant on the river." He said, "Or there's a bowling alley in the area."
He says the power plant, and she just like raises a brow. Okay.
He says, and he kind of says, I can meet you there, or I don't know what you've got for transportation."
No, I've got wheels.
He actually pulls out what looks like a mountain bike. And he says, "Well, then I'll see you there."
All right.
So.
What she's going to do basically is she's going to finish her beverage here, and when she leaves this place, she's going to find a legit place where she can step sideways, obviously not in public eye or view.
Okay.
What she'll probably do is go into the restroom at this point, make sure no one's in the restroom. If no one's in there, she'll drop to the Umbra and shift, so she can just pretty much when you shift, you're pretty much pushing the alcohol out of your system. So that's what she's doing.
Give me a perception.
If she's not, like I said, she's making sure that no one's in there before she does this. So perception.
Primal urge.
Okay.
I'm going to assume you'd be able to step across at some point in there. We don't need, you can.
Yeah, I would have dropped Gnosis to do it, make it easy. I mean, I'm not stressed out, so my slip sideways flaw doesn't apply here. So yeah. So I got 1 on a perception primal urge.
Okay. As you shift, you hear a voice behind you, and he says, "Cheater."
She like looks around.
And it's actually it's Tertius. standing
the? Hey, we all gotta have our tricks, and I gotta be able to drive.
He says, yeah, they tend not to stop you on a bicycle as often.
Well, unfortunately, my wheels have 4 and not 2.
You notice she's dressed significantly more traditionally here as well.
Okay. All right. Well, I wasn't gonna ask in there, but now that you've managed to follow me over here, I have to ask, what the fuck are you?
He says, follow, I was here first.
What?
He says, well, as much as I enjoy biking, that doesn't mean I want to bike through the whole damn city.
Touche. No, she totally wasn't expecting to find him in the opera.
He chuckles and he says, we've been called many things. Will workers, mages, medicine men. Personally, I follow the mentality of a shaman.
I should have known when you mentioned the quote unquote. What is it? Out of character. It's the Jade Dragon, correct?
The Green Dragon Tavern.
The Green Dragon Tavern, yeah.
He says, well, you should have known when you had the first drink.
Yeah, I should have.
He says, and if it didn't tip you off when I told you to visit me at a park, I'm not sure what else I can.
My senses are a bit off today.
He says, well,
He chuckles.
That will happen. Can't imagine why. It's not like she's recently gone through anything.
No, nothing at all.
He says, well, either way, he says, I suppose I will meet you there.
Indeed you will. And she's going, once she's actually gotten her stuff, once she's got everything run through her system and she feels legit, she'll go back down to breed form, peek into the restroom out of the Umbra just to make sure that no one is present in there before she drops out of the Umbra.
No, you're fine.
No. Okay. And she will drop out of the Umbra and take care of her tab at the bar and leave. Go to said address.
All right. And you get there, and he's standing there. And he says, nice to see you again.
Nice to see you again, too. At least this time I was expecting to find you here, she chuckles.
He invites you in towards the park. And then as he walks with you, he kind of just gently touches your forearm. And you see in front of you this particular structure.
Oh, sweet.
It's like a big old tree stump, basically, but with a door built into it, stairs leading up to it.
Okay.
And it kind of appears almost like when you walk past an alley, you can't see down it until you're standing right in front of it. That's kind of the same sensation. And he walks right up, opens the door, invites you in.
And
it's very rustic inside.
Okay.
He's got like a rope hammock strung up. You can see there's weapons hanging on the wall. There's like a war hammer, a couple of swords, spears. And then there's stairs leading down. And he says, I do most of my brewing downstairs.
Suppose you said dark place, huh?
It tends to work better. He says, especially this particular one. And he'll He'll lead you down the stairs, and you can give me a perception, probably a perception primal urge.
Okay.
So out of character, this is a Karen. So whatever would be I imagine it will be very easy
For a Karen,
Yeah.
for her to recognize that it's a Karen.
Yeah.
Oh God, I think that's gnosis.
Is it? Well, that works
Feeling
too.
the bond, feeling the bond.
Yeah.
It's basically whatever the gauntlet is here. Gnosis at gauntlet. And if it's well, after that mega influx, let's see. Normally a Karen is like anywhere between 5 and 3.
That would be a 3.
So.
And as he leads you down the stairs, you would kind of feel it.
Or
And the stairs kind of wrap around.
No, I don't. I don't. I'm apparently.
You get downstairs, you would definitely still notice something unusual.
Okay.
Because he's got this underneath, basically this cavern, and there's trees and stuff growing within it. There's this pool. The pool almost seems to glow. And then set in the back, there's kind of these small caverns that you can actually see flames burning on top of the pool.
Whoa, this place is crazy.
And if you want to roll a gnosis again.
Oh geez, I think I got it this time. 3 on a gnosis roll. No,
so
yeah,
it's
really like
it's definitely a Karen,
right?
And the pool in front of you seems to be that basically like a liquid tass is what it actually is. But to you, it would feel like a liquid gnosis, manifested gnosis, and as well as a rift in the gauntlet. And he gestures and he says, and this is why my brews are not readily available on the open market. He looks around and he says, this is the cairn of steaming flows, as it's known. And it has been entrusted to me. He said, further, I have laid enchantments upon it.
Okay.
And bartered enchantments as well. There's much we can do above and beyond simple brewing with the right skills and materials. He leads you over, and there's basically like a small field of hops, and then a couple of flower beds where he's got beehives and.
Well, yeah, like I said, this is all underground too.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy. Crazy. She's clearly quite impressed.
Yeah. He says, so, if you're looking to establish yourself at some place with some unique resources, I can perhaps be of help.
You know, I haven't really thought of where I'm actually going to set things up yet.
Well, if you ever perhaps need someone to need to call in an outside resource of a different variety, I can perhaps be of assistance too.
Cool.
I am perhaps most similar to a warrior theurge from your social standing. That would be perhaps the most appropriate fit.
She's
But
like,
I am.
battle theurge, huh?
I converse with spirits regularly. I'm also applicable to combat. I work with forging, crafting, healing to a minor degree. So, as needed, you're welcome to call on me.
Well, I mean,
For brewing
if
in
anything,
addition to anything else, of course.
and you know how to contact me as well. I mean, if you need anything that I can help out with,
That might be prudent. I hate to always go through another. I tend to currently contact Hugo, who contacts an elder. And that's a lot of hoops to jump through.
yeah, I'd say so. Sometimes getting things through your elders can take more time than you necessarily got to.
True. So, again, if you have any questions, you're welcome to contact me. I've also made an exception to the wards for you so you can find this place.
This place is something else, and I don't mean that in a bad way.
Well, there's more to it, but I tend not to have people overwhelm people too much on their first visit because the rest is even more unique.
I don't have the curiosity flaw. You are lucky on an OC note. More surprises then. Got it.
He says, well, again, it's a fairly expansive place, and I've invested heavily in it. So.
All right, it doesn't look nearly this large from the outside.
He says, on the flip side, you're actually the first shifter who's actually been inside this far.
Really?
Yes, the rest of them have respected my authority here. I suspect part of that is because it's a rather unusual circumstance being in the center of the city, as well as directly across from the establishment it is.
Correct. Though she does, I am quite curious on the name of the brewery and whatnot. Any Fey ties to that?
Well, not personally. I respect the heritage, the culture. I guess I can't say for certain, but I do not. Nothing that I am aware of.
I was just curious, with the name and all.
So, again, it's not a particular avenue I've dabbled in much. So, I know they exist. They've left me alone. I've left them alone, and I respectfully pay homage from a distance. And that's so far been a good arrangement. To me, what's more important is that we not neglect them or any part of the history or mythology.
I don't think this place would be, not this place directly, but this city would be fun for them. I don't think they'd like it much here, anyways. But
No, I
one
suspect
never
not.
knows.
A bit significant on the industrial side.
Yeah, yeah.
So he says, "Well, you're welcome to another drink, and we can part ways for the evening." Or he chuckles and he says, "If you're feeling brave."
Hmm. Was that a challenge? She chuckles.
He says, "If I were going to challenge you, I suspect it would be a bit more of a physical challenge."
there, there are more ways to challenge a person than physically. Okay, I'll be right back. As you can tell, Psycho.
Yeah.
She actually wants to go out, so I'll be right back.
I'll go put mine out quick too, then at the same time.
There we go.
All right, we'll see you in a few.
Yep. Okay.
All right, where the hell were we?
Uh,
Oh yeah, just asked if you were going to
ow!
see the rest or head out.
She'll check. She'll see the rest. Why not? If he's willing to show.
He'll hold out a hand to you.
No, she'll take it.
He walks forward and steps into the pool,
Okay.
and it's basically feels to you just like if you step sideways, only without trying.
Oh, I'm used to that one with that lovely little flaw I have.
But you find yourself in more of a wild cave-like structure. Stepping out of a smaller pool, and there's stairs. He leads you through it, and he says, "The truly potent ingredients I can grow here far more easily." And then he leads you up, and it's like stone rooms until you're in a tower. And he leads you out the front door, and he gestures. You can see you're on a stone island, kind of a rocky island.
Okay.
Storms kind of around it, but it's calm on the island itself. And he kind of gestures. The path goes from the island to a mainland and then splits. You can see there's a number of storm spirits and water elementals kind of around it. Inside there's tranquility spirits.
So this place is feeling pretty chill.
Yeah. And Umbrella, maybe? I don't know what else might be applicable. Occult or Enigmas or Umbrella.
She's got enigmas and occult. She actually needs like I said, I have XP that I still need to spend, and that's going on lures. So
okay, intelligence and enigmas or occult, whichever would be higher.
Enigmas.
So.
Oh hey.
Hopes I'm looking at the right screen.
3.
He gestures and says, "This island is my own, but cross that bridge, and one path leads you to the Arcadian Gateway, while the other is the legendary realm. Neither are journeys I would attempt lightly."
Okay.
He says, "However, if you find yourself in either of those realms, know that you can find this tower from that side as well. Although it is warded, you, as I mentioned before, have been granted pass to the wards."
What? I'm sorry, I'm taking notes on that bit so I can. You said legendary and what?
The legendary realm and the Arcadia Gateway.
Oh, the gateway. Oh.
I can actually send you the notes I have on it.
No, I know about the gateway and legendary.
No, on the canon itself.
Okay, yeah. Well, without Umbralore being Fiona, a lot of the Fae stuff would make sense.
Right.
She's heard of the gateway, but not all the other Umbra stuff. And that is actually intriguing to her. As much as Holly is not a fan of the Fae people, McKenna is not Holly. So yeah, that is actually quite interesting to her. this leads to the gateway, but you've not encountered any of the fair folk?
Not not on the other side. Not in the city.
Right.
As I said, I have wandered their lands. I pay homage to them. But in the city, they leave me be.
Interesting.
Admittedly, they have plenty of other reasons to not go there as well.
I must admit, this is very interesting. I I may find myself, once I know a bit more, trying to go check out the home of the fair folk.
Well,
But it is good
again,
to
there's
know that this comes here at
well, and again,
some point.
the additional benefit is it approaches from the other side.
Yes.
He says, but I tend to visit this side more for my gardening or specific works that operate better here without the interference of mortals.
Well, the mortals can interfere in a lot, whether they realize it or not.
That's true.
Sometimes they don't.
Yeah. Leads you inside and back through the pool.
Oh, this is a very fun setup you got here.
Well, when one has a cairn to work from and is a will worker, we can do many unusual things.
Well, I can safely say you're not the first of your kind that I have encountered in this city.
There are a number of us, although how many interact with your kind, I do not know. Although if you've been to the vineyard, I'm sure you've seen Hugo around.
Yes, yes. I've been to the vineyard. Also, if I recall, I think she said that she'd been to the Green Dragon Tavern.
Yes, I imagine that was interesting, especially if you end up speaking with Demos, but that's a whole matter for another day.
No.
Or were you simply visiting some of the residents?
I was invited there by Miriam.
Ah.
I have a lot of contact with her.
She is a very outgoing individual.
She's an interesting person, most certainly.
That much is true. He says, well, unless you had anything else for me, you're welcome to stay as long as you'd like. But that was the extent of the tour at this point.
Okay.
There's further gifts that can be bestowed, but I don't think there are many in this city prepared to undertake that challenge. Unless you wanted to carry out that physical challenge that was mentioned.
Yeah, I might be a guru, but I'm not quite as adept at some of those things as others of my kind are.
Yeah, says, well then I imagine that wouldn't be very, very sporting of me. He picks up a cask and says, why don't you take this one with you? You never know when you might need a stiff drink.
Oh.
You can always return the favor once you've gotten yours operational.
Oh, most certainly. Why, thank you. With all the things going on in this city right now, stiff drink is probably a good thing to have.
Fair enough.
And yes, I will be more than happy to return the favor once I get my stuff up and running.
He shows you to the door.
Well, thanks for all your help and showing me this your setup here. This is, like I said, pretty neat.
As I said, if you need raw ingredients, I can offer ones that aren't readily available.
I will keep that in mind. Thank you.
He hands over the cask to you, which is actually heavier than it looked when he was carrying it.
Oh boy.
And he's
a strength check in Hamid for this.
Probably.
Well,
now that I think about it, yeah.
Well, okay. Let's roll this epic. I believe it's 2. Yep. Nope. The dice stream has hated me for the last 2 days.
He kind of helps steady it, and so you can get out to your car.
Right. Yes. That will get stashed in the back seat on the floor behind the passenger seat. And what she'll do is she'll move the passenger seat back so it doesn't have an opportunity to fall over or roll around. Pretty much pin it between the seats.
Gotcha. He says, well, if you ever do wish to revisit that physical challenge or just even some practice sparring, he kind of smirks and he says, I have a suspicion I would enjoy wrestling with you.
Well, it doesn't hurt to work on that.
Indeed. And he turns and heads back inside.
Okay. She'll get into her car and she's gonna go back to the she'll check the Storm Crow about the check the Storm Crow in regards to the equipment, and if that is actually around, she'll probably store that in the basement before she goes back to okay. She'll store that in the basement, leave a note on it, like for Sasha and Eric, like not to mess with it.
Okay.
And then she'll move it when she's got a space that she can actually put it right now. And she's gonna go back to the sept.
Alrighty. I think that'll wrap it up. So this has been another crossover scene involving McKenna. Thank you all for watching, and there'll be more scenes to follow.